Picture trying to fine-tune one of the largest open models ever released, 65 billion parameters, on a single graphics card you could buy for a gaming PC. A few years ago, that sentence would have sounded absurd. Just holding the weights would demand a small server rack, and the training state on top would push it further still. Then in 2023, QLoRA made it real. It stacks two clever ideas on top of each other, squeezing a giant model down until it fits on one consumer GPU, and remarkably it does so with essentially no loss in quality versus a normal 16-bit fine-tune. So how does it pull that off? Let's dig in. First, let's see exactly what QLoRA changes about ordinary LoRa fine-tuning. Regular LoRa already freezes the base model and trains only tiny adapters, which is wonderful for the trainable parameters. But there's a catch. You still have to hold the full base model in memory at 16 bits. So how do those two ideas actually fit together, step by step? Watch the sequence. Start by quantizing the frozen base model down to 4 bits, using a new data type called NF4 that's tuned to the bell curve spread of neural weights. The giant pre-trained weights are now stored compactly, taking a fraction of the memory they need at full precision, but they stay frozen and are never updated during the run. Next, bolt small LoRa adapters onto the model, kept in higher precision. These little matrices are the only trainable part, so their parameters and optimizer state stay minuscule. It's exactly the LoRa idea from before, now riding on top of a 4-bit base. During training, gradients flow through the frozen 4-bit weights and land in those higher precision adapters. The base itself never changes, only the adapters learn. The frozen weights are simply a fixed path the signal passes through on its way to what you're actually tuning. Because only the adapters train and the base is compressed to 4 bits, the whole fine-tune fits on one card. Paged optimizers spill state to CPU memory during spikes, so you don't crash, and a 65 billion model tunes on hardware you already have. Strip it down, and 3 ideas define QLoRA. It pairs a heavily quantized frozen base with small LoRa adapters. Squeeze the frozen weights down hard to save memory, then train only the tiny adapters on top. It's 2 proven techniques stacked into a single, elegant recipe. It brought several innovations to make 4-bit training actually match full precision. The NF4 data type suited to the bell curve shape of neural weights, double quantization that even compresses the quantization constants, and paged optimizers that dodge memory spikes. It fits a 65 billion parameter model on a single GPU with no measurable quality loss. That's what democratized fine-tuning back in 2023, suddenly letting researchers and hobbyists adapt the largest open models on hardware they already owned, and it quickly became a default recipe for efficient fine-tuning. All right, let's lock in the essentials. QLoRA combines aggressive 4-bit quantization with LoRa adapters to fine-tune enormous models on a single consumer GPU. It quantizes the frozen base to 4 bits, then trains only tiny higher precision adapters, with gradients flowing through the compressed weights. Clever additions like the NF4 data type, double quantization, and paged optimizers let 4-bit fine-tuning match 16-bit LoRa with essentially no measurable quality loss. It famously fits a 65 billion model on one card, and it's now a default recipe for efficient fine-tuning. If you'd love more of AI's clever tricks explained without the jargon, come explore them with us at standarity.com. See you there.